Hey everybody, welcome back to the blog. I'm Devin White, and I just flew in from LA. I'm back at my home in New York, and it feels fabulous. For as long as they can remember, the story about themselves has been maybe that they were unwanted, or not just the story, but the facts of life were that when they were in gestation, their mother was abusing drugs. And the question comes up in the work that you're putting out, you continually refer to this state of grace that people are born in. And my experience is that I was never wanted, or that I wasn't well cared for, even when I was in utero. So, how am I supposed to access that? If that perfection was never wound into me, what about me? And here to say is that the generative imprint model that Roy initially put out was designed around the concept that at conception, and possibly even before, you were already perfect. So there is a perfection designed into you, whether from the second after conception you were being fed the wrong signals or signals that weren't supporting you or not. That perfection is untaintable, it's indelible. And so what our job is to simply re-access that. Now, one of the easiest ways to do it is, for the majority of people, the story of their life is, yeah, when I was a kid, I totally remember feeling like that. Now, if that doesn't work for you because you have a whole story, and by story, I'm not being pejorative, I'm not being derogatory, I'm saying the stories that inform our lives, the stories that people have told into us and that we've told ourselves about ourselves, are incredibly important. And if the story that you have for yourself about yourself is that from a very early age, even back then I wasn't loved, even back then I wasn't taken care of, no one wanted me, any of these kinds of things, then that time period in your life is going to be charged in a way which makes you tense, which makes you contract, right? So it's going to be actually particularly difficult for you when I go in back when you were in utero and boom, 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 you can hear the heartbeat and you can relax back into that state because you've spent years, possibly even decades, associating all of the worst feelings that you could possibly imagine into that part of your life. Now, in state training, in states in general, the strongest state wins. If you've spent a long time feeling bad about that, feeling bad about your history, or just thinking about and having other people feel bad, or any of these kinds of negative associations, if I was working with you privately, I wouldn't go there first. That's a story that I use because it works and there's truth to it, and we can all, and at some point when you've gone through all this stuff, you'll be able to line up into that too and go, oh yeah, now I can tap into that deep perfection that was there from the moment of conception, and even reimagine myself growing up inside of that perfection, re-remembering my life as though it had been like that, and finding out who would I have become and what's possible for me now. Now, if the state that you go back to there is not good, choose a different one. You just have to find one moment in your life where you felt like this is it, or this is a relative approximation of what it's like. If you're watching this video, you have some at least imagination of what it could be like to feel really good, which means you have a reference point, whether you're aware of accessing it or not. And what you want to do is begin to hone and tune all of your senses in to that way of being. So when you hear the word the default, and you hear the default sound, and you're establishing that reference point of, let me make sure I'm centered, I'm in my defaults, I'm balanced. What you want to do is go to that experience. You don't have to go back to the one where you're in utero if that one doesn't feel right. Go to one that works for you. Eventually you'll bring it back there, but you have to get the feeling strong enough first so that you can then carry it back through your life into all of those historical markers that are important, and then reassign them meaning and value. So what you want to do is just find a state that works for you, that is you at your most exquisite, you performing optimally, you, and this is key, where anything is possible. If you look around, you go like this, anything is possible. I'm ready for it. That's the default. And what you want to do is begin to establish that for yourself over and over and over and over and over. You want to get to know what it's like. And as you get to know what it's like, that way of being will begin to spread out. It will deepen the experience and expand it into various parts of your life. And eventually, you're going to bring it back to those places. What you want to do is become singular. So no matter what part of your life you think about, you're in your default. No matter what, whenever you think about yourself in any way, it's you being in your default. It's the way that the universe has organized everything so that you could know yourself like this. And the people who, when you have those struggles back there, that's incredibly powerful. Because what it means is you want to go so deep with your default that you feel confident walking through the halls of your memory into those rooms and holding it. And when you fall down and you go, but I feel so bad about that, you stand back up, you walk to the side room, and you take a minute to reestablish yourself. To go, there is this exquisite way that I have of being, and this is the only place that I'm going to live from. And then you walk back into the other room and you go, what would it have been like for me to feel this from the time I was born going forward? And when you can do that and you can hold it, now you're on an incredibly fast evolutionary path to mastering yourself. But what I wanted you to know is that in no way does it limit you to have that kind of history. It's just a story. These are all stories. And we're just finding the most way for you to access the way that you are when you're at your best, so that you can begin to establish it in your whole life and bring it out to every context that matters to you and beyond. I'm Devin White. I'll talk to you soon.